sort of surprised, honestly, to see the stock moving in the negative direction, just because revenue for the third quarter was a little bit better than expected. Guidance for the fourth quarter was in line, if not a little bit better than expected. And expenses were, where they've been saying they've been all year. So I do think that the expectations for this company have gotten really high, especially after we saw those smart glasses that they demoed a few weeks ago. They've been talking about AI all year. So anything other than a real home run maybe feels like a little bit of a letdown. But for the most part, Meta kind of came in where everyone was expecting them to come in for the third quarter. And as you mentioned, they're really touting AI as the reason, saying that that's been helping with the ads business.
Yeah, Meta shares currently off just a little bit post-market, 2.4%. But Kurt, as we've been talking about, I mean, this is a company whose stock is higher by 67% through today's market close this year. So expectations were certainly high. We still, of course, have yet to hear from Mark Zuckerberg. What do you think that analysts and investors really want to hear at this juncture?
I think the narrative with them for the last several quarters has been the trade-off between investing in these, ambitious long-term AI projects and not forgetting what, the bread and butter is for this company, which is advertising, right? And so we've seen that tension over the last, really several years, but several quarters in particular, where they've been saying, hey, expenses are really high. They're going to continue to be high. But, we have all these cool things coming down the line, and people also wanting to say, well, what about right here and now, right? You have Instagram, you have WhatsApp, you have Facebook. Like, how do you continue to kind of build those businesses without, just focusing on the metaverse? So I imagine that sort of tension of, spending and staying focused on the here and now is probably going to be what we're going to hear a lot about.
Let's talk about the metaverse. I love making fun of the metaverse. We were talking with a portfolio manager about 2 hours ago. Who was that?
Michael.
Yeah, he was lovely. And he was saying that they're still spending a lot of money on the metaverse. They're just not talking about it. Is that a fair characterization? What is the current relationship between Meta and the metaverse?
I should have said Michael Sansotera. I'm
Yes.
sorry, I only said his first name.
Yeah, well, we all
He's
know
on a first
Michael.
name basis. He's over at Sylvan Capital.
We all know Michael.
Yeah.
Classic Michael. No, I feel like that's right. I do think the investment is still coming in. It's not just in like the virtual world that, eventually Mark Zuckerberg hopes we're all hanging out in, playing in. It's in the hardware that you're going to use to access it, right? It's in those Quest headsets. It's in that augmented reality glasses, Orion, that they debuted a few weeks ago. So I do think they're spending a lot of time and resources on building that. Now, I think they have learned that talking about it is not necessarily the smartest business decision, right? And so you've seen the narrative around this company change this year from metaverse to AI, because AI is more widely accepted. People, I think, maybe better understand where AI could play a role versus this sort of nebulous metaverse idea. So I do think the investment is still happening, but to your point, I think it's sort of happening behind the scenes, and instead they're choosing to talk about something people want to hear about, which is, artificial intelligence.